Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us on Sunday night for another episode of the Bald Avenger Show. This is episode number 91, Danelle. I cannot believe that I'm still around after 91 episodes.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
That is awesome. Who is going to be on for 100 is what I want to know.
Yeah, maybe you.
I would do it.
You would do it. Yep, and I am Jason Cisneros, also known as the Bald Avenger, the tattooed guru, the king of the Misfit Nation, the purveyor of all things common sense, and a legend in my own mind, Danelle.
I felt it.
You felt it? It was all over the place, wasn't it? Yeah, just go like that a little bit, you know. But most people, you might want to keep it on you because it's pretty awesome.
It's lucky.
Yep, and I am super happy to have Danelle Delgado here, the millionaire maker, right here on my screen, on my show. I am so happy to have you. And one of my dear friends, somebody that those of you that we're going to talk a little bit about Unstoppable, those of you that are not signed up and haven't registered yet, you got to get there. UnstabableGC.com. Somebody that's watching can please post it in the deal. But I want to tell everybody that Unstoppable Growth Conference was something that for years, Danelle, for years, you know, you and I have spoken on the same stages, and we bump into each other all over the place. And one of the things that I complain about is how much a lot of events, not all of them, but how much events have devolved into literally just sales pitches, right? You go and you're like, oh my God, I want to hear from Danelle, right? I want to hear from Jason. I want to hear from these amazing speakers. And then what it is it's a curated sales pitch, you know, for whatever it is that you're pitching, which is I'm happy for people to do that. But I have complained about the idea that I believe that the audience has gotten left behind a little bit in the rush for high ticket sales and, you know, and those types of things.
Makes people embellish a little bit from stage. If I've only got you for 30 minutes, I got to give you as much as possible to get you to do the thing, right? So it encourages a little bit of the wrong behavior. If you don't really have time, that's what I like about Unstoppable. That's why I said yes, is because this is like actually time to spend time with you. I miss, like, we can do better if we can be sitting with you, in front of you, spending time with you, on a boat with you. Some of the best speaking engagements I've ever done were just Q&As with people right in front of you. So that's exciting, right? We're not there to do anything except serve you on a beach where you're away from everything that distracts you, to go, what do I really want and how do I really get there? From people who are doing it. I'm super, super excited to connect with the people there.
Yeah, me too. And when I started thinking about, okay, who do I want, right? You know, you and I both have access to pretty much anybody that we want to get on stage. And I was thinking to myself, the people that have impacted me the most, the people that have really done it, the people that have come from, you know, a rough background or gone through rough things. I cannot relate to people that have not struggled. Like, you know, and I know that there's people out there that have led these charmed lives, and I'm just not one of them. And it's hard for me to relate to people that have had great parents and, you know, a great marriage. And I mean, I love to learn from all of those people because I want to relate that to my children so they don't have to go through the same, you know, learning exercises that I had to. I'll call them learning exercises. Massive failures and heartbreak and heartache and driving myself crazy and going bankrupt and all the ththings that I've done. And Danelle, you were one of the first people that popped into my mind. And let me tell everybody why. It's because I want you to tell everybody a little bit about your story, because those of you that are coming to Unstoppable, you're not going to get so much of her story as you are her brilliance from stage. Now, obviously off stage, there's going to be a lot of time for us to mingle and mix and that kind of thing. But it was your story because I lived it with my mom, you know, where she had nothing. And, you know, I won't go into your relationship. That's your job to do. But I'd like you to just kind of start off and let everybody know a little bit about your story, because it's one of the reasons why you were top of my list to bring. with your genuine, real story. You went through real struggles, and you had to figure stuff out. You're one of those things. When I tell people all the time that nobody's coming to rescue you,
right?
You're a prime example of that. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll get rolling into the other stuff.
Yeah, I think one of the best things that I always had going for me was I was always a dreamer, right? I was that kid who saw something and did it. And, a lot of people say, is that born or is that developed? I don't know. I think probably both, right?
Yeah.
But I was always hungry, but I had kind of that charmed life growing up. I did come from a divorced family, but my grandparents, my mom, they took care of me. And so as I was young, I did what everybody told you to do: get married, get a job, work your way up. And I'd had all of these things, and it's like, okay, is this all there is, right? But it's great. I'm supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to be grateful. And then in a moment, everything can turn around, right? In a moment, I have twins that are 2 and a 3-year-old going, my family didn't agree with me getting a divorce. They were a very religious family. They, and we always think back and wonder if we would do it differently knowing what we know now, right? So I used to beat myself up with that question every single day. Did I make a mistake? Am I doing the wrong thing? What am I doing? Because now I have nothing. I have 3 kids and nothing. I had some friends rent an apartment for me. My brother-in-law introduced me to sales and networking, and I just fell in and I said yes to everything. So I had 3 jobs. I started a business. I knew nothing about sales. I literally sucked more than any human has ever sucked in the sales world. My mentors were like, please quit. Like, don't let your kids count on this. You're not going to get this. It was like people were running away from me in the grocery stores. Like, I was like, this sucks. I got really thin because I didn't ever eat. And I was just like, the most unhealthy, hardworking, whatever. So I had 3 jobs. I took on this business, and I was committed. And I got to this point, just like you said, where I was like, nobody's going to help me. My friends were like, marry up, Danelle, come on, use your wit. And I was like, excuse me? Right? I was like, so just like be miserable and just, take the cash. And just so many things struck me at the same time. And I'm actually so grateful that my family and everything stepped away, because it was the first time I actually learned to think for myself.
Wow.
I had nobody's input in my ear. And I was actually using my own brain. And I was like, I'm going to freaking do this. I'm going to do this myself. And I kind of went into angry mode where I was like, I don't need anyone. I'll do it myself, right? And I started studying. I studied every single salesperson I knew. I called every person in financial world, in the auto world, in the insurance world. I sat in on their meetings. I listened to their phone calls. I wrote my own scripts. Like, I didn't know that's not what you were supposed to do. I read every free book from the library because I couldn't afford one. I had no home. Like, it was, my family was fighting against me in court for my kids, saying I was a bad parent because I was working so many hours. And I was like, well, how am I going to feed them? Nobody cares if I have milk or not. Like, what do you mean I can't have my kids? Like, it was, there's a lot that I don't share about that time. And I had to fight for 2 years to prove that I could have my kids, make income, take care of myself, and be healthy, And I think so many people just have so many people in their ears. And I think the greatest blessing in the world is I had no one in my ears. And it was just like, what are you made of? So it was also because I think if I would have had people in my ears how I grew up, so judgmental and so care what people think and all these things, I might have quit. I might have been embarrassed, but it was like the greatest thing. And I think it's just perspective on how people look at their lives. Everybody comes to me and goes, I'm a single mom. It's so hard. You inspire me. I'm like, I don't want to inspire you. I want to move you to do it for yourself. Right? I don't want you to be starstruck. I don't want you to just want to hug me. I want you to come up to me like, I freaking pounded the phone. I earned my way. I figured it out. Thank you for showing me what I had to do hard work wise,
We're moving. I love that. And we're moving as a society from do it for me, poor me kind of a thing. And we're moving back, like the pendulum always swings.
Yeah.
The pendulum always swings to self-sufficiency, and that can go too far, right? And then to the side of we, which that can go too far. Yeah. And we went way too far over to the we side, and I believe we're swinging back. But
making a comeback.
What you say, it's so powerful for the people that are listening and that are people going to hear you from stage is that power of people of guilt, right? The power of guilt that people have over you. The way that I'm supposed to do my life, right? The way that I'm supposed to do my life is in direct proportion to keeping everybody around me comfortable with my own dynamic performance. Right? And most of the time, lack of. So talk a little bit about getting over the guilt. How did you get around that? Like you said, they weren't in your ear, but that is prevalent in people's lives, right? That guilt, that level of guilt that people carry around.
Yeah. I think, and this is something I've just started to train, because I think it took me a little while to figure out what exactly I did. Because people would ask, and I'd be like, I just worked hard. And that's not really true. I think, number one, everything that has filled your brain up to the point you watch this video, up to the point you sit in that room, I will tell you, every live event has changed my life that I've been in the room. Every live event has changed my life. There is something that I learned there, one takeaway, where I decide to go to that next level. And it only happens to me at live events. It doesn't happen online. There's something about that magic. So I was there, but I do believe what happened is I went to enough training that I realized that when the world teaches you, hey, you need healing, right? You need to take care of that. You need to talk about it. You need to get it out. You need to overcome. I think that is BS. And I'm like, stop healing, start winning. The fastest way to heal is to win. And so I help people go to their fastest win, the next right win. You know what's crazy? They forget about all the pain. Right. You only have to win once and it erases all that stuff. I think so many people are fighting over the pit and all the hard stuff that if they just start focusing on the desires of their heart to win, to provide, to matter, to be significant, to sell, to make a difference, to earn money, whatever your thing is, that desire is where your win is. And anytime you focus just on rolling around in the muck, man, I could look at my life right now, and let me just tell you how the world might look at it, right? The normal world would go, oh my God, how sad that she's so successful and not married, and that she does all that herself, and that she has to shovel her walk, and that yard is so big, and how sad she just travels the world and doesn't get to see her children, right? That's the world's view. And I look at, because they can take any great situation and make it look like shit, right?
Amen.
And I take a look at every single day, and I looked at it when I was in the tiniest apartment with just a tent and no furniture, and I look at it the same way. Is I overcame cancer, I overcame sickness, I overcame disease, horrible stuff. And every single day I still wake up the same. When I take that breath, it's like, it gets to be me today. I got the shot. That person didn't. I get to have a huge bill that I work really hard to pay for. I get to shovel my own walk, right? People like, Danelle, hire people to do that. I go, are you kidding me? I hire them to do some of the things my son doesn't know when he's not here. He does it when he's here. But every time I do, my neighbor does a ton for me too, because he's old and amazing. But I shovel the steps and stuff, and every single one is gratitude. Thank you, God, that I got a porch. Thank you that I get to work this hard, that I get to save lives, I get to do things. And I think that only came from it being so hard and nobody helping me. Thank God nobody helped me. I learned how to help myself.
Yeah. It develops in you, a solid core, and you gloss over things. And I relate your story, and I think that's why we bonded so instantaneously, because I watched my mom do those things. I watched her as a prisoner in her own home and stepped in front of her to take her beatings as much as I could, and watched her work 3 jobs to provide for me and my little brother, and to watch us get chased to a police station and get rolled over by his truck in our Volkswagen, come to rest on the grass at a police station, have her get out with her bleeding and me with one of my first broken noses, and to have the cops come out and ask her what she did to piss him off. instead of, you know, it was years later. That was like when I was 6 or 7 years old.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until 17 when my adoptive father went to prison for attempted murder of me and my mom. Finally, the police stepped in, right?
Yeah.
And luckily nowadays it's much better in that arena. But I look at that and you say something, you tell the story about, you know, getting your apartment, you had no furniture, you didn't know how you were going to pay next month's rent. And you put together a tent and you made it a party for your kids. Because overall, and this is why, you know, when I think of women and I think of how powerful they are compared to men who can walk away. Now, there's a lot of great men out there, right? But when I think of power, I think of my mom, I think of you, I think of multiple women, Kat, and the different women that are in my life, that there's no option but to succeed. And not even to your side. What you're saying is, if you're going to succeed anyway, if you've decided to already succeed, that there is no giving up, that there is no quit, that you have to feed your kids, that you have to pay your rent, that you're going to do that anyway, why not make it that beautiful home that you have behind you? Right? Why not make it bigger? Instead of just surviving, thrive.
Right. Yeah, so many people, right? Like I even have people who rip on the house. Right?
They're course like, they do.
Stay shopping. You do all those things. And I like one thing people just have to get over is, like, I say this to people all the time when they're telling me things. Yeah, but so-and-so said this and there's this hate and this family member does this. And I go, listen, you a damn adult. Right. Make your own rules. Right. Like somebody says it has to happen this way. So somebody told me lots of ways. Some things I listened to, some things I did not. Right. And if you do something that's against like what feels good to you, that's your own fault for doing it.
Right.
Because, you know, like you got to train your instincts.
Everybody's always going to have something to say. And this is what people are afraid of, right? This is, I want to come back to something else that you said, you know, when we were at an event together about being broken. So don't let me come off of that. But this is what people have to understand. If you're on the path to success, and you're afraid of that thing you did before or that thing you think you're going to be judged for, then you are always going to be in a prison of someone else's opinion, right? And that is one of the biggest things that I had to get over, that you had to get over, that anybody that we look up to or respect has to get over, is the idea that sits in your head that you are responsible to make the people around you feel comfortable. You are not a leader unless you make people feel uncomfortable, unless your very being makes people feel uncomfortable, because they set in this place where they have bought the lie that they cannot conquer the demons and the things that are in their past to become that shining star for other people, right? And so many people, you see it, you're on the road as much as I am, and you're in front of them. And you said something to me in Las Vegas when we were there at Dr. V's event. Mm-hmm. And I had something else planned on stage, and I was going to talk about some other complete thing. And you said something about people being broken, and it changed my entire talk. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah. We're listening to everybody share their messages and talk and everything. And I just kind of leaned over and I was like, you know, it's crazy. Right. And then we had this conversation. You're like, I'm going to fix it. And I was like, yes, go fix it.
Yeah. And it's a good message because you embody it, and more than a lot of people that I know, more than almost anybody I know, is that you're not broken, right? We are not fragile. Man, look at this. I'm pounding the desk over here.
Don't be breaking things. Your table is breakable. You are not.
My desk will collapse. But at the end of the day, you know, what are some things that people can understand and what they can look at in their own lives that help them get past that idea that they're broken, that they're less than, that they should be looked down upon, that they're not worthy? What are some things that you inject into people?
Yeah. Number one, I think, is obviously there's like the basics that the whole world talks about: gratitude. Okay. That changes your brain scientifically. You got to be grateful for what you have. Okay. So beyond that, right, let's talk about the real stuff. I think people have to focus on this, right? If you look at yourself as broken, the situation happened, Danelle, you don't understand it so hard. Oh, I understand, right? Like, you know, but that's what everybody thinks, is you don't know my situation. And I'm like, if I were to show you pictures of how broken it looked, you would not even recognize me, right? And it's this focus of not the hurt, not the pain. It's the focus on the desire of what is it you want. You know, you've seen it, you've tasted it, you know so much. Okay, great. Here's what it is. Define it, write it, talk about it. Like, put it down every single day. And then it's okay, what's the thing that I can do today to get me closer, right? What's one step, right? It's like Oprah, the next right step. But I think when people focus on one step towards a desire, they forget about broken, they forget about hard, they forget about any of those kinds of things. It has nothing to do with what happened to you. I think the other major thing is this. I have a rogue eyelash. What's going on? I think the one major thing is this, is when you have a lot of trauma or things that happen in your life, what you need to realize is everything happens for you. Like, there are wins that I have had that I only won because I was like, I am freaking street smart as all get out, because I lost so much, right? Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm kind, I'm sweet, I'm whatever, I'm scrappy. Don't you put me in a position to make me stand up to you, right? Right? Like, I'm like, if I'm Velvet Hammer, I'll go ahead and be Hammer if you need it, right? Don't you call me that. Don't, right? Like, don't confuse my kindness with weakness, kind of a thing, right? They're like, oh, here she comes, the joy tornado. I'm like, oh, buddy, it's much bigger than that. Believe me, it takes a giant human to be kind to a giant a-hole, right? So you have to look at your strength only comes from proof of what you know you can do. So let's just say I take one big step out of a hole, right? I gain strength. I build a muscle in my mind that is irreversible. I can, I will, I do. Then you take another step. I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I'm fighter, right? And every single step, then when things come up that seem hard, you're like, well, that's not the truth. I just proved that wrong. So I forget all the broken parts, all the other things, right? All those things in school. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not thin enough. All those things that everybody told me I needed to be on stage, right? I'm not funny enough. Like, they literally said all the things that I'm actually super talented at, right?
That everybody loves you for.
Right? Right? I'm like, how would I make butt jokes if I didn't have a butt? Like, are you kidding me? This is awesome. So but people look at that as, they're right. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not going to do these things. That's what they're looking for. So the next right step. What happens is I'm the youngest, the least successful, put on a giant stage. I made the most money. Next to one, I think I got second place, right? So all those things, when I disproved them with one win, it erased all those things where people told me I couldn't do it. So all you have to do is go, not broken, quit even saying that word. You're in a spot that's teaching you how to get to that next one, right? And then the other thing is, I just say yes to all opportunity. Yes. A lot of people tell you, learn to say no. I'm like, I don't know. I just learned to say yes. I say yes. Yep. Right? Like, that's, I don't know. It's worked out well for me.
Well, I posted something today from Atticus. Said, silly girl, the old lady smiled. You're different was you're beautiful all along.
So true.
Is that a great saying? Like,
yes.
I mean, I love it because we're just taught that we're supposed to be guilty about everything. And then if we don't look like this or we don't act like that, there's so much power and so much freedom in just loving who you are, right? Being who you are, but never satisfied. Loving where you are, being happy where you are, but never satisfied.
Yep. Friday Night Live, I talked about that. I said, unleash yourself immediately.
Unleash. And that's what Unstoppable, this is exactly why I wanted to build Unstoppable, is because what I don't want is I don't want a bunch of people running around looking to buy the easy pill. right? I don't want a bunch of people coming to the event and thinking that what we're going to do is we're going to imbue upon you the breath of Jason and the breath of Danelle, and all of a sudden you're going to walk out of there and you're going to learn look, at the end of the day, one of the things that I respect about you and why you're on my stage is that I tell people all the time, you have got to put your guts into what you do. You've got to work hard. You've got to put it. And we live in a society that thinks now, if you get famous on social media, guess what? You're going to be a millionaire. You know,
right? Most people famous on social media have no money. Just saying.
I know.
I'm making them uncomfortable though, because then they become my clients.
Right. We started a hashtag inside of, the growth course that I built, and the work that we do in consulting. It's called hashtag the right hard work. So what information people should be seeking, right, is the information that helped somebody move forward in their hard work, right? Because hard work is just a given. It is the thing that is consistent amongst all people, anybody that's thinking or watching this or will hear it on the replay or will see us in Unstoppable. It's the one thing that they have in common is that they work their guts out. This thing called balance, it's a myth. Don't chase it. It doesn't exist. I got to put the equal amount of time into my children and the equal amount of time into my business and the equal amount of time into loving myself, whatever the hell that means, and then my spirituality and my look, you got to lean your ladder against the wall that's in front of you. And sometimes that's your family. Sometimes that's your health, right? Sometimes that is your financial position. Sometimes that is your own well-being. And you got to know when to move the ladder and which wall is standing in front of you and to commit. This is what I love about you and what I can't wait for people to see. I've got this thing, my lovely daughter,
oh, cute.
for me that's distracting me. But this is one of the things that you're going to get is that focus and that energy, when it's spread apart, you become worthless. Yep. You become ineffective. You become in everything that you do, there's no power. And what you see with Danelle and what I watch all the time is laser focus, right? Laser. We can text each other 2 a.m., on a Sunday when you're halfway across the world, I'm halfway across the world, and I'm going, and you'll say, here's what I'm doing. And I'll be like, okay, good. Here's what I'm doing. It's laser focus and just putting everything that you've got into it, right? You know where I was over the Super Bowl. And we have Pastor Rudy from Certain Ministries that is one of the most amazing organizations that I've ever come across that rescues abducted children that are being trafficked in the sex trade, right? Underage. And when you get around that man and when you get around his daughters, which everybody coming to Unstoppable is going to get to experience that family, mother, 2 daughters, and him. And they are some of the most focused, hardworking, committed, right, people that you will ever find. They just know, like Pastor Rudy will take off from his house when he's got enough gas money to get to a location, not know how he's going to eat, not know how he's going to get back, because he's being led, he's focused, he knows that he's there because that little girl, there's so many little girls and little boys in this world that don't even have somebody looking for them. Right. And if they hit his radar, if they hit his family's radar, if they hit the Certain Ministries team radar, those people, those children, those little girls and those little boys become the focus of their entire being, in detriment to their own health, in detriment to their own sleep, in detriment to their own financial position. Yeah. Right. And those are the people that I want to be around.
Okay. So what you're saying, for all of you watching, understand we have to honor that mission. When I remember the first time you told me that you did these things, and I was like, please stop talking. Please stop talking. I can't. I have little girls. I need you to stop talking. And you're like, I'm not going to stop talking. And I'm like, don't yell at me. I just met you. Right. And I'm like, I need you to pause for a second. It hurts my spirit. Right. And we had this conversation about how he is led to fight for that. Every single one of you on this or at Unstoppable are led for your mission that way. And like you said, I went against my health, against everybody's thing. And I said, listen, I will make a damn difference. right? I will do it for my kid. And I posted it today and I said, do you really understand that you need just one good reason to go do it? Just one. Now, if you haven't done it yet, if you're not constantly doing it, if you're being lazy at it, it's the wrong reason. You just haven't gotten to the root of that reason. The truth is, everyone who's coming there, who's fighting for a business, who watches either of us, dude, there is something so big that you are meant to do that the business or the goal or the income or the relationship is going to be the easy part. Like, it's going to be the piece of cake once you get through. You're like, oh my God, it was meant to be this. Like, I tell people all the time, I go, listen, if you could understand now, like what I know now, if you could see the faces that you would impact when you get it done, you'd freaking go all out, right? And now I look at these faces and I'm like, oh, it's meant to be me. I almost quit at this stage. I almost quit at this stage. I almost cried and quit at this stage because I was humiliated, embarrassed, and sick and tired and had no one, and nobody I loved believed in me, so I thought they were correct, right? All these things you guys are fighting for, how Start Ministries fights like that. Problem is, we just all need a little bit more fight. Like, they know that if they do the work they're called to, it's all gonna be okay. They'll get gas money to get home. Most people are too comfortable in their current state. I had to lose everything to understand what fight was.
You did, and this is the other side of it, is that you have to, when you decide, because here's the thing, everybody watching knows that there's a pull on their soul.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know that there's something that they're supposed to be doing. They know what it is. They know in what we're not saying, hey, come and support Zert and a New Dawn and Feed a Billion and Danelle and Jason. What we're saying is, wake the fuck up and support your own thing, right? Wake up and sell out to something before you die, right? And that this message isn't meant for everybody. This message is not meant for it's because there's a lot of people that want it the easy way. They want it handed to them. They want there to be some magic like combination of things, right? And let me tell you, I'll say it here, I'll say it 100 million times, that if somebody tells you that what they're teaching you is not going to require hard work, they are lying to you. They are lying to you, and they are trying to sell you something, right? And I want everybody to hear that, because there's people that need to hear that they've got to sell out, right? That because they're surrounded by settlers. They're surrounded by settlers, and in the settler world, you going or getting excited or your heart rate getting up, or with conversations that you and I have, or laughing our asses off until 3 o'clock in the morning one day for absolutely no reason, like, that's all nonsense to them. Yeah. That's all nonsense. There's something wrong. And then did you know that Mother Teresa has a hate group?
Surely not.
Did you know that?
Coming to? Are you?
No. This is how powerful. I found this out, and I was like,
wow.
What?
Those humans are going to hell.
Has a hate group, so you have no chance of getting through. You living your life and selling out to what you've got to do. You have no chance of getting through it. People hating you.
You know why people can't understand that we'll sit there and laugh till 3 in the morning? Because they haven't worked so hard that they need a massive release like that.
I think that's what it was. Because that was ridiculous.
We just are like, run like this forever. And it's like, you sit there, you're like, I'm deliriously tired and whatever, and everything is funny. And that pillar of Caesar looked like Jesus. And, like, literally, it made no sense at all. And I think it's like, the only reason, like, when people don't call you crazy is because they've worked that hard that they see it too, right? And this is fun. And when you get through this, what's crazy? That hunger that draws you. Right? Like, if Mother Teresa has haters, dude, you're not getting out alive. So, like,
you have no chance. You have no chance.
Yeah. Like, I did that at this last event. Maybe I'll do it at Unstoppable too, but it was so funny. I popped up real hate messages that I got. I was making fun of entrepreneurship. I was like, entrepreneurship be like, and it shows a picture of me doing yoga, and then it shows me spitting water out of my mouth, like how I really do yoga, because I like, this is boring. So I'm like, I'm centered. I'm in a hurry. All of you dance around or something, right? So I popped up all these messages of hate I had received recently, right? And people were like, and I was making jokes out of them, and I was hilarious, right? I had people going, we heard you slept your way to the top. Is that the truth? And I'm like, yep, I'm a hooker. Wouldn't you think that I'd be thinner and smilier if that were the truth? I would have been having a better time, right? Like I popped up marriage proposals, and I popped up somebody calling me, I don't remember. I popped up all these, somebody called me Satan, the Antichrist. And I was like, well, it's sure a fun trip. Come on over. That's right, I'm Satan. Like, you know, like when you get pulled towards something, everything else is entertainment. It's awesome. It should never like make you emotionally charged that you stop going towards the goal or they win. It just is proving that you should suck and you should quit. If you're going to let somebody else's opinion tell you that and slow you down, right? Like I love Kat. We talk about A New Dawn. Okay, man, that girl fights. Every time there's a woman in trouble, I'll get a message every time. And every time I can, or I'm in a place where I can get to something, I'll send something. Like, I'm like, why? Because she'll send me 14 messages to fight for her thing. And I'm like, dude, I honor your hustle. Fine. Right? Like, and I've got other things to do.
You have to do something.
You gotta honor that. And I'm like, girl, you are relentless. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like take care of all of the women in history.
Right.
Like, great, because you inspire me, right? You just had a baby. You need, you know, all these things. People who don't like take excuses or reasons, they're just waiting for a reason to slow down. Like, oh, somebody hated me. It hurt my heart. Or I'm battling this. An old thought my mom said to me, dude, hug your mom. She probably needs it. And like move forward.
And here's the thing. Yeah. Here's the thing. Most people have everything that they need right now.
Yep.
Most people have everything that they need right now. They have the house that would sustain them. They've got enough food in their belly. They've got a car that's getting them back and forth to work. They have exactly what they need right now. And the thing that is keeping them from getting any more is the fact that you've got to, that here's my belief, right? Is that you're going to give it away. I mean, we look with Anton J Global, that's my consulting company. We have a motto that says we help good people make more money, get more time so they can do more good. So if we look at we got a lot of people coming to us that want us to help them, but if on their P&L, right, if they are not donating to charity, I know that when we help them make a ton more money, they're not going to donate to charity. Yeah. But they're going to do another, and I don't look, anybody's success, cars, size of the house, how many houses you want, not my business, and I'm not the one that's here to judge you. But what I will tell you is that what you do in small things, you will do in large things. Yeah. And what we want to do is be specifically to help those people that want to do more in their life, that realize that I can only spend so much money, I can only drive so many cars, I can only live in so many houses, I can only go on so many trips, I can only eat the finest wine and scotch, especially scotch, and smoke the best cigars, and especially cigars, and those guys. And then at some point, I start to devolve into myself, and I become sick mentally, which drives me to become sick physically, which means that I eventually am driving myself into an early death. I feel like I become more alive every single day when I give my money, when I give my time, when I give my efforts, because I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good. Now, where all of my energy comes from and rolls me out is when Pastor Rudy tells me, hey, Jason, we've got this situation. Boom, we handle it. We've got this, you know, when AJ calls and says, we need $100,000 to get meals over to Africa. Boom, we've got it. You know, if Kat needs to build a building, boom, we make it happen. And that is what drives us. I feel like we are put on this earth to become the best that we can become in service of other people. And that's what is missing, is that second piece. I want to become the best me I can, so I want to get all the likes and all the, do you realize how piss poor my social media is? It's horrible, right? But you can't stop an unstoppable force like you. You cannot do it. I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
How long did you see in your mind the home that you sit in now?
You know, it's funny. So I met with there was 4 of us at a table, 4 women right after I got through treatment. I was selling, right? I was building sales teams. I was in networking. When I got through my treatment, I was sitting with 3 other women, and I drew out on a napkin an idea. And I drew out this, it looked like a hotel. And I said I wanted to do events for women. I wanted to teach them how to build businesses. And I had become pretty good at sales, but I was still losing because I got cancer without having insurance. So that sucked. I was not that smart back then, just so you know. So, so it was like I won and then I lost and then I won and then I lost. And I had like, it was just like this cycle. And I drew out this house and it was like a hotel and I was like events for women and this, and I drew a stage and I was like, if I could bring in this, it's like literally day one of this company. And then, you know, it's crazy. The day I moved in and I showed a picture of the back of it, one of the gals who sat at that table goes, Danelle, go pull out the napkin. And I was like, oh, and I pulled it out. It looks damn near exact same as the back. Maybe I'll bring it to Unstoppable. I have it. And
I would love to see it.
I'll pop it up on the screen. We all signed it. I was the only one who went and did that. But my friend Nicole was like, Danelle, pop open the napkin. It's the same. Which is funny. And the braver I get, she keeps going, I'd pay good money to have a real interview with you, Danelle, from like day one to this. Yeah. But I'm telling you, like, everybody knows that dream in their heart, whether they draw it out on a napkin, whether they talk about it, or whether they just think about it because they're too afraid. We all started this life with that goal and that dream. The only thing that'll kill you is ignoring it.
Oh.
Like,
I want you to repeat that.
Yeah, the only thing that will kill you is ignoring that dream that you know is in there. Like, you'll die while you're still alive. Yeah. I was dying. I was 29-year-old dying, going, surely I was meant to make a bigger difference in this. I want to speak on stage. I feel like I have a voice. People listen to me. And they're like, you throw up when you speak on stage. It's like not meant to be you. And I was like, you're right. I vomit. It's not good. I'm nervous. My face turns red. Right. And now I'm like, let me on the stage. What's something to say? Right.
And the thing I love about your home is it's very rarely empty.
Right. That's what I got it for. It's ridiculous. It's filled with people. It's
filled with people. And it's people that are seeking and searching and getting your message. And I love that. And you know, it's full, but I want to know, when did you realize that it's in service of other people that you really, that launched? I mean, I don't know that that's true with you. Like, yeah. But at some point I felt it in my own life where I went from this selfish prick who lied to people, cheated on his wife, went bankrupt, was horrible with money, all of those things that it was when the light went on for me that I have felt unstoppable since that moment, because resources have shown up to my willingness to humble myself and to the level of problem or challenge or suffering that I've chosen to take on.
Right. For me, it was after I won really big in sales, and I walked in the room and everyone was like, it's Danelle Delgado, touch her shirt, like just get near her, get a picture with her. And when I got sick, I remember like feeling like I was breathing hot lava. It was radiation treatment. It's like it's rough. And I was looking in the mirror and I was like, this life is not supposed to be about money or things or sales or happiness or joy. Like, that's supposed to come from the fulfillment of the impact we make. And I think it was that day. It's the day I created Life Intended, which is still the name of my company. It's about intending every step in advance. It was stop doing things to earn and to sell. It was doing things to make a difference. Like, everybody in the world is like, Danelle, scale your company, do less with people. And I'm like, shut up. I make enough money. I love helping people. Right. I'm like, you're not my coach. I don't need you as my coach. My coaches know what I do. I make money on this places and this places, and this is my love. Yeah. Right. I like seeing someone go from here and change their family. If you don't want to do it and you want to speak from stage and you just want to sell a course from stage and not care about how it turns out, great. That's not your mission. It's not mine, So that was it for me, thinking that I was going to possibly die, right? Cancer has made a recurrence in my life continually. And most people don't know that, because why would I share that? I don't need people calling and checking on me. Like, I got lives to change. So like, for me, it was looking at that and going, all right, if I don't know how long I get and the chances of it coming back keep coming, well, my kids are going to see how to make their dreams come true, because I'm going to do it. My kids are going to know I'm a legend, and I'm going to show them how to do it now. My kids could carry on my message right now. They are freaking legends. And I'm like, okay, every life, as many as I can, And it sounds like arrogant. It sounds a little like flu, but I'm telling you, if you have ever had your life threatened and had that sucker punch scare, like I get super emotional about it because when it comes back, I have a chance of it coming back like for good every single year. So I'm like, if you only knew how valuable today was, you'd stop being a wuss. You'd stop crying. You'd stop being like, oh my gosh, somebody said no to me. It's so hard. Your language would be, wake up. Who's the lucky one to run into me today? What can I do? Man, I sucked here. I embellished here. I failed here. I hurt someone here. Damn it. Keep going. Go, get better. Apologize, right? Like, I've wasted so much time being angry at people and hurt and sad and like, how could they stab me in the back? Business, you dick, right? Like, like it happens, right? And I just go, you know what? No more. Like I think a long time ago, but the real answer is every single day.
Every single day. It's the right answer. And both of them are the right answer. But here's what I want people to hear is that as you seek information, right? As you say, why would you listen to Danelle? That story helps you realize that whatever you seek for yourself is always going to end up empty, right? This is why you seek wisdom. What she just spit out right there is that whatever you seek for yourself will always end up an empty cup that will never be full enough. Because at the end of the day, you might lose your life. You might have you might lose somebody near and dear to you. But at the end of the day, start now answering that soul scream in you that doesn't scream for a bigger house. It doesn't scream for more cars. It doesn't scream for that. It screams to serve. It screams saying you were born and went through the particular set of circumstances that you have gone through so that you can serve other people that are in that realm and you can ease the suffering in their life, right? That's what you're built for. And if you realize that today, you will stop caring about the size of your house. You'll stop caring about the zip code that you live in. You'll stop caring about what thing is stamped on the vehicle that you drive. You'll stop caring about those people that are wealthy and rich and you're trying to get their attention and you're trying to be around them when they're dickheads anyway and you're not going to like them when you meet them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop caring about hate, mean people, people's opinions. Like those don't matter. Just love them and go serve. Love them, go make a difference. Right? Don't spend time being like that. You just got to be like, hug and release. Move
Start
on your
that today. Danelle, if you could tell them, like, if you could have learned that lesson, if I could learn my lesson 20 years earlier, where would we be? Right? What suffering would we ease? What things like, I know the causes that you're passionate about, they're in alignment, some of them, and some of them are different than mine. But when I look at wanting to impact world hunger with Feed a Billion, when I want to take a woman being beaten in her own home, being held a prisoner or whatever situation is every 11 minutes and be able to I want to reduce that and to be able to take the 2 million to 3 million children that are being traded for sexual deals every single night, right? Those are numbers. Those are huge numbers. And that thing, I feel unstoppable. That's the event, right? But I feel unstoppable because you can't stop somebody that is committed to solving problems at that level, right? And your passion is the same thing. It will come. I've watched it with Pastor Rudy. I've watched the fact that money shows up, resources show up, people show up. The things that you need will always show up. And most people got to get used to the fact that you're good right where you are. If it's a trailer, so what? Who cares? If it's an apartment, who cares? Get everything else will show up the more that you show up for that thing that you were born to do. And that is not about you. It's never going to be about you. It's going to be about the path that you walk that will help you get down that path. I'm going to shut up and let you take over for a minute.
No,
I'm going to overheat.
You need a drink. Cool yourself off. Get some scotch.
No scotch until the event.
Really?
Yep, but when I get there, we're going to have some scotch and some cigars like crazy.
I have not had alcohol for a year.
Yeah?
I still haven't. Someone made me a drink the other day, and I was like, no, I'm really enjoying my brain right now. I'm really enjoying my brain on fire, but you know, you never know. It's a party. I'm a party no matter what. But friends, just tell this. Like we're talking, and we just love sharing this story, right? Like, what are the odds that we happen to be speaking at like 3 events in a row, and we're like, oh, we both just want to make a difference in the world. That's awesome. Let's be friends. Let's cheer each other on. Let's kick each other in the butt when we need it, and we're being a wuss. Like, this is what this tribe is all about. The Unstoppable event is about the same thing. The most important thing I did was invest, scare myself to invest, travel, and meet a group of people who wouldn't allow me to underachieve anymore, to underestimate myself, to not notice what I was capable of. So I'm so excited to be there, and not just like not fire you up or make you be like, oh, they're amazing, it's so great, they have good spirits. No, it's to go, okay, let me break down this tactic of how to do it as fast as possible, then hang out with you for a couple of days and explain it, you know? So that's what I'm excited to do. Like, the only people that are going to be there, man, I'll just bring all of my throat spray, so my throat will not get tired. I will talk all day, 24 hours. Let us solve the world's problems, because thank you for doing something for the greater good.
And I want everybody to hear that, because that's different. You know, a lot of times you go to these events and you know, you get what they get from stage, and you buy their stuff where you're not relevant to them. And the thing that every speaker that's there cares about, those people, the people that are in the audience right now, you could go and just hang out in that room, not listen to a word that was coming off of stage, and you will get something out of the audience that's going to be there. Like, we have from billionaires to people that are going to be sleeping in their car to be there. You know what I mean? Like, all the way of the spectrum that are in the audience, right? And so, and the idea, and it's the core of Misfit Nation, right? The core of Misfit Nation is the people that showed up for this. It's going to be the first time in history that Misfit Nation is all going to be under one roof at one time, which is frightening a little bit. You know,
I don't know if Naples can hold us.
I don't think so.
Like guys, when you get there, like, fight for time with them. Like, like, just know this. This is something about me. Like, some people are like, oh, I was so embarrassed to come talk to you. I saw you sitting at a table, whatever. I'm like a little bit of an introvert. So like, I'm great on stage, and then I'll go sit in the side and in the corner, and like, it's super uncomfortable, like, if I don't know people or whatever. So like, it's not just a normal thing for me to be like, hi. So I would much rather you come up and ask a question. Like, I fought to go talk with those people. So I'm never like hiding away because I don't want to talk to people. I am, because it like takes me a minute to like, or it's just like, my nature is like protect myself. So if you have a question, like, come up, sit at the table, like, have a conversation. I love helping people more than anything, but I also don't like starting conversations. Isn't that weird? So start one and I'll talk all day. But just know that, like, you don't know, don't ever be shy. Like, go talk to the speakers, all the ones that are coming, Paul, you, like, all the people who I love, man, that's just a room, like, I pay to be in. So, like, well.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. And it's funny. Yeah. Funny that you say you're an introvert, because my favorite part is when I get people up out of their chairs, like, you're so
Remember how hard that was for me? This is like the most awkward. I'm like, here, give me your phone. I'll take videos of you doing this. And you were like, I see that. Put the phone down and participate. And I was like, no, I'm just gonna video. He literally was making everyone like stand up and unleash and come out of their shell and be like, rawr. And I was like, rawr.
Like,
over me, right? And I'm like sneaking towards the back and taking pictures, and then he has a microphone, right? And he's like,
a microphone on the stage, and I'm high, so I can see what's happening.
Put the phone down and participate. And I was like, right. And then I did it, and I will tell you what, there's a lot of breaking free for all of us. I'm going to learn just as much as I'm going to teach. So try to take more notes.
Me too. I feel that way. I cannot wait to sit at the feet of Ed Sullivan, like I did for 2 years. Like, you guys are going to get to see and hear from one of the greatest marketing minds that has ever walked this planet. He doesn't sell any products. He doesn't sell a program. He's coming as a personal favor to me as my mentor, and he doesn't do these things. And you get to sit at his feet. The guy that launched Oprah, the guy that turned around CBS, the guy that rebranded the freaking the Academy Awards, like that guy, you know. And you get to hang out with him for the weekend too. And he doesn't sell anything. What's
You
that?
better bet I'll knock you all down to get in front of the line to meet
I know you will.
Remember, I'm a little sharky, right? I will stay back until it's like, I'm going to learn from the greatest humans in the world. That's what I did. Like, if you're asking, like, how did I do it? I'd find the best person in the room, and I'd definitely wit my way to the front of the line.
Yep. And I love it. Like, I love that about you. You know, that's one of the things that I adore. And that's what the thing that bonded us, I think, is we're built, you know, I came from absolutely zero. You know, I've had to fight for every damn thing in my life. You know, even when I lost money and I was doing stuff like that, I was one of the only people that didn't complain and go, that person ripped me off and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I made the decision. I was the one that was being greedy. I was the one that tried to shortcut the process, right, and get back on your feet. You know, something that's funny, Danelle, that just came up in my brain that I didn't realize until just recently, and I think about it all the time now, is that when I was homeless, I could have very easily gone and gotten food stamps and support and, you know what I mean? Those types of different things.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. Like, sometimes I kick myself thinking, I went to homeless shelters, I went to this, I went to that, and I could have just went, you know, for all of the tax money that I paid in before. I could have just, you know, and that's something that I don't know why that popped up in my brain right now. Maybe somebody needed to hear it. But at the end of the day, Unstoppable is going to be it's 3 days. It's not 3 days. It's 1 day. Unstoppable is 1 day, but we're going to have a VIP dinner the night before, where you'll get to mingle with all the speakers, hang out. We're going to have some hors d'oeuvres, and it's in a beautiful setting. They're doing tiki torches for us. It's going to be gorgeous right on the water. And then the next day we wake up bright and early, and you hear speakers from about 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. And then you get to go home, change, or go back to your room and change, put on a suit and a gown, and it's a black tie event where we're going to be handing out awards. I think we've got like 12 awards to give out. The first ever Nation's Choice that people have been voting on for the Icon Awards. The first one. And somebody is definitely kicking everybody else's butt right now. So it's pretty exciting to watch. And then the next day, if you're VIP, then we all go out on a cruise and we hang out just in a relaxed setting, get to know each other. I am most impressed by the participants that are coming. I'm most impressed by that. I'm secondly most impressed to the people that I handpicked that said yes to this, and the content and the value that's going to be added to the audience while they're there. This is not going to be one of those, if you're coming expecting kid gloves or an easy pill, and for people to say it's not hard and to pat you on the butt, this is the wrong event for you. You shouldn't come, you know?
Just go to yoga.
Yeah, exactly. So any part of wisdom, anything you want to tell everybody before we go? Don't
be crazy. See me in Naples.
See you in Naples. That's short, yes. To the point.
Thank you for all you're doing, because I'll tell you what, my company started with live events, and they're like very, very hard work, but to do all this so we can do some great good, I'm excited to be there.
I certainly don't need it for the money. I've done that. I sold my companies. I'm good. This is an experiment to see if Misfit Nation is going to put its money where its mouth is, and we're all going to come together, and this is going to be a brush fire that starts a forest fire that burns down the negativity in the world and lifts up those most vulnerable, those people that are true victims, not the fake victims that are out there going, I'm a victim because of this or that. The real victims, the ones that have had choice ripped out of their life. And it needs warriors like Danelle, like me, like those of you listening, those of you that are watching, to step up and to step into that powerhouse that you've seen 100 million times in your dreams, that you just are needing that extra little push to get moving, because it's in that power and that service that the resources are going to show up that you've been seeking for so long, for something to show up in your life. It's you that's going to show up. It's that extra step. It's that realization that you were built for service, not the other way around. Yeah. And so I can't wait to see everybody. Those of you that get to Naples and to Unstoppable, it's going to be one for the record books. It's going to be one for the history. It's going to be the first one. You're going to want to be there. So thank you, Danelle. I love you. I adore you. I respect you. And I'm so grateful that you're in my life, that you're one of my friends, that you are such a servant. And I've enjoyed watching you grow and have an inkling of what you're growing into and what you're going to grow to be. And I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do, man. Like, really, dear friends are hard to come by the harder we work. And
Amen.
I'm excited to do work with you for a long time.
Amen.
Tell you what, an
All
honor.
right.
Okay,
Have a good night.
The Misfits.
I appreciate you. Yep. Say goodnight to the Misfit Nation, and we will see you all in Naples. Peace.